are these people?
Another independent journalist, and we've talked about him before, and we've talked about his silencing before by outlets and by platforms, Johnny Vedmore. Johnny Vedmore is an outstanding researcher. He's done a tremendous amount of work on the Epstein files and to expose, long before Trump ever came into office, a lot of what Epstein was doing. He and Whitney Webb worked together for quite a while as well. He reached out to me, and he and I have DM'd in the past. Originally, it was that he got censored over this Nicole Junkermann. He had done a series, and they were taken down from Rumble, of all places, which was weird. All right. But not just there, but now Substack is even now listening to Takedown Requests. So this starts out, and this is a long post. Nicole Junkermann denies her provable links with Epstein and Ehud Barak and Peter Thiel. But somehow the censorship campaign continues. Why? Because it's all on behalf of Israel. Fuck Israel. And it seems that she's now lost touch with reality, which isn't a surprise because she's protected. Last week, Substack returned the 4 posts it removed on behalf of Nicole Junkermann's NJF Capital. However, soon after, they informed me that they geo-blocked 6 of my Junkermann-related posts in Germany. The platform didn't inform me straight away. Instead, they only emailed me after I made public posts asking why they hadn't informed me of the geo-blocks. The email notification that Substack sent me proved that it performed zero due diligence. It's a bot system. The Substack team didn't even check the articles to see if any of the claims were true, which was something that I experienced during the prior round of censorship too. By not performing any legal due diligence, Substack are allowing Nicole Junkermann's people to use strategic litigation against public participation, which is SLAPP, tactics to silence my journalism. This constant abuse and harassment leveled at public interest journalism should not be acceptable on any platform, let alone a platform for journalists. What are we doing, Substack? By documenting my ongoing legal battle against censorship, I hope to help create a fairer platform where journalism is protected, rather than what we have now, an unaccountable way for the wealthiest in society to target journalism. Johnny needs your help in this. Support his work and fuel his ongoing fight against censorship. Okay, so this was the letter that he had originally gotten. We're reaching out to let you know that we've received a legal complaint regarding alleged defamation of Nicole Junkermann in your following posts. So they're using lawfare to get these posts taken down. Copyright claims and, the defamation of character. So what they're saying is that based on legal advice, they limited the accessibility of these specific posts in Germany, where such content has been determined likely to violate applicable defamation laws. Laws are different in every country. When the 4 articles, which were removed by Substack after a false DMCA and defamation complaint from Michael Oakes of NJF Capital, I was forced to make a similar response. However, Substack clearly did no due diligence. In fact, links to the majority of the accusations Substack wants me to prove to be true are already included in the article. However, her defense is totally detached from reality. She denies being part of Carbine 911 and denies ever being associated with Jeffrey Epstein, Ehud Barak, Pinchas Bucharest, or Peter Thiel, even though their associations are on public record. Not only are Nicole Junkermann's associations with Epstein and Carbine 9/11 on the public record, direct communications between Junkermann, Epstein, and Barak have been made available via the Epstein files. Still, it seems that Substack does no due diligence at all and doesn't even check on the claims made by Junkermann's people. His response was comprehensive. All right, and Johnny writes a long-winded response here, right, explaining exactly what they're doing. And I'm not going to read this whole thing. I'm going to link you to it so you can go read the whole thing. You see, we're still going. Okay. How they're smearing him. All right. evidence of SLAPP tactics aimed at my public interest journalism. This is a list of her acts of systematic censorship on other platforms. So he then documents going back to as far as 2019, where she is petitioning to have any post written about her that he makes exposing her relationships, including one that from How Do We Miss That, right, where I got geo-blocked referencing his second article about it, right? This has been happening repeatedly, consistently for years. All right, that her tactics fall into two primary categories: defamation and strategic litigation, both leveraged to suppress scrutiny of her Epstein ties, documented in the flight logs for 3 trips, including Paris to Birmingham. So he addresses each one of those things. She denies that these things exist. Check it out for yourself. Substack has allowed itself to be a tool of SLAPP tactics because they don't check any of the claims and instead removes content without any evidence. It allows SLAPP tactics to continue. However, one of the most surprising aspects of this case is how brazenly her people lie about her well-recorded involvement with Peter Thiel, Ehud Barak, Pinchas Boucris, and Jeffrey Epstein. All right, so that's what's happening here, but there's also this story. Another serial offender where Substack got takedown requests, right? Accused this guy, David Sullivan, another like Jimmy, what's his name? Savile, accused of multiple accounts of raping women and children in Britain. David Sullivan has so far been protected by the UK court system, UK police, the BBC, and the FA, the Football Association. Right. He owns a soccer team, a football team. Right? Unbelievable. The profile of a serial offender was his report. That got censored. Here's the proof that it was being blocked in the UK in response to a legal demand. Insane. Again, and this was this past week. This is happening in real time. Here's somebody else pointing out that his Substack was withheld in Germany in response to a legal requirement. This is true censorship. 5 hours after returning 4 of my posts in other strategic litigation, their system is broken and he's on the front lines. They are using law to try to silence inconvenient truths. All right. Here is YouTube still acting as a publisher. Junkermann still acting as a tyrant. All right. This is, again, from November 19th. And they're still pulling down videos from September 1st, 2022, from 2022 or from 2002. All right. In Germany, blocked in Germany off YouTube. Here's another one. Here's another one. Germany has very strict laws about this stuff. So rather than potentially defend any of it, they just take it down. And the YouTube video, this one, also doesn't work. That's the one that is now restricted in Germany. So Johnny is being targeted because he is exposing the powerful that have ties to sex offense, sex criminality, and in Junkermann's case, she's another honeypot agent from Mossad with ties to Epstein and Ehud Barak. So that's Johnny Vedmore being silenced. Go support Johnny Vedmore. Newspaste.com.org or .com is his website. If you go to his profile, he's got a link tree, newspaste.com. He's also, by the way, on Substack, although they're censoring the shit out of him there. He's also on Twitter, and he publishes to Twitter as well. Support independent media. Could David Sullivan be the mastermind behind recruiting honeypots or crypto? I don't know if the Junkermann story is related to David Sullivan. I don't remember. I don't think they are. Yeah, Substack ain't going in a good direction. What they are is they are non-committal and they're hands off. They want to let the lawyers work it out. They don't want to. So their policy is they'll take it down for 10 days and give you 10 days to respond and counterfile. If not, they'll leave it up, or you have to prove that you did not violate copyright. But it's a Wild West. And apparently, again, they've outsourced all of that to AI. Does use of a VPN prevent the geo-block? Yes, it does. As long as your VPN doesn't show you to be in one of those countries that's geo-blocked. Absolutely. Boo Substack, absolutely agreed, Wombat. Yep. Talking about YouTube censorship is not going to make them happy. So the ways to support this channel are these methods: Cash App, Ko-fi, PayPal, IndieNewsNow.com, over at Substack, and Stripe, by the way, funds Substack. And I just got to think about how Stripe didn't reinstate someone, and they're being censorious as well. We really this is all we can do. This, or we decide we're going to take crypto, and I don't think anybody here wants to take crypto. I think people know how I feel about crypto. But Cash App, $ Indie News Network, ko-fi.com/Indie News Network. That's scrolling across the bottom. PayPal.me/Indie News Network. Again, the websites you saw. There are so many good independent articles and outlets out there. It disappoints me and makes me crazy that there are so many podcasters, live streamers, and outlets that choose to not amplify amazing work like we just did. You can create, format, and craft an entire show comprised entirely of independent media. We do it multiple times a week here. And I encourage everyone to encourage the show that they go on to amplify more independent media and to stop amplifying corporate media. Please, by all means, stop with the Hill Rising segments and critiquing that crap. Stop with the breaking points and the TYTs and all these, focusing on what they're doing and they're talking about. I didn't have to talk about any of those people, and I covered the news. Keep that in mind when you watch those shows that laugh at what these corporate idiots are doing. It's not funny, and it's not helping anyone. Support independent media because we need it more than ever. I'll see you soon, fam. I love you all. Have a great night.
Holy shnikes.
No! We just fucking lost the stream!
I guess this isn't such an awful place.